What's up? This is Ruthless Motherfucking Rob.
And I'm Two-Face, and we are the Isolated Beings.
And you're listening to Uncovering the Underground with your boy Skippy Ickum.
Bringing you the best in underground entertainment today.
I smash virgins and black curses. I stab a pussy to death like I'm a mad surgeon. The purest version, conduct a sermon in holy water. I turn this liquid to wine, I'm never flowing sober. King Cobra, I'm never biting, I strangle hoes. These bitches sucking the venom after I mangle hoes. Label those that try to oppose me as just another trophy. Leave them choked with his Jesus peace and beat it rosary. If you don't know me, you ain't a homie, you pussyfoot. Well, non-originals hopping up on the train we took. Layman's terms, y'all don't impress, so I ain't mixing words. Y'all can suck a dick and just die inside a bed of worms. You never learn, y'all don't progress, so stay in school and say the same as these clout chasers and baby fools. Baby dudes would be a bit better if they just kept it real. Just be yourself, never lie, you ain't gotta steal. So fuck the cops in the precincts. It's beyond top secret. From the depths underneath streets. It's beyond top secret. You wanna know what we knowin'? We flip the lights and we show 'em. You wanna know what we knowin'? We flip the lights and we show it. Now hold the show up, wait a minute. Call me nasty motherfucker, I'm in it. I know you hate it, you an average motherfucker. Admit it, you overrated. And I stab a motherfucker who thinking that he can fade it. I'm the greatest with the swag on me. I'm making headlines, breaking necks with eyes on me. I disconnect spines, never one for playing with people ain't got their lights on. I be in the wrong way traffic, I got my brights on. I'm as crooked as a dog's hind leg. In all my life I sold the cannabis, it's all high grade. Fuck the government, they my dollars, no tax paid. So maybe they can take a portion of the songs I made. And you can have it all, lacking attention, you need this Adderall. I'll be high as heaven and Reverend just kick the ladder off. Mazel tov, showing the secret can cause a holocaust. See it, don't believe it, just beep it and get your melon tossed. So fuck the cops in the precincts. It's beyond top secret. From the depths underneath streets. It's beyond top secret. You wanna know what we knowin'? We flip the lights and we show 'em. You wanna know what we knowin'? We flip the lights and we show it. These fuck babies keep stealing my shit. Even in the videos and images they use in my clip. When I put my dick inside your mouth, you can suck on this tip. Don't fuck around, I'll walk up on you while you selfie-ing pics. I'm past lunatic, way past your foolishness. I beat a rapper to death, not even doing shit, proving it. I'm to the point with no masks on. Slit your throats and slit your heads with no hats on. You off sides, get you put in a box. I'll have you stepping on your toes like a hole in your socks. My music turn you into fiends like I cook it with rocks. You know the secret is a team, pointing aim at the cops. Cause they the ops, since I had one of them pickies can pistol with me. Now I'm aiming at their head when I'm packing a pistol with me. It's like, oh dog, don't be all acting like you don't know, dog. Turn you into Casper, you bitches are gonna know God. So fuck the cops in the precincts. It's beyond top secret. From the depths underneath streets. It's beyond top secret. You wanna know what we knowin'? We flip the lights and we show 'em. You wanna know what we knowin'? We flip the lights and we show it.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Uncovering the Underground radio show brought to you by First Angel Media and Brutal Business Entertainment. As always, I'm your host, Skippy Ickum, and it's a pleasure to have you listening tonight. Whether you are listening live or streaming or downloading this after the fact, we want to thank you, and we do ask that you click the like, share, and follow button on whatever platform you're listening to us from, because the more that you do that, the more that it moves us up the podcast community rankings, more people that discover the show, and allows us to continue to do great things with the show. Plus, it keeps you in tune with all of our new episodes, and allows you to tune back into our old ones, so make sure you check them out. We do want to thank our sponsors, Tattooed Scumbag Apparel, and you can check them out at tattooedscumbag.com. Use promo code BBE10 for 10% off your overall order. From hoodies to sweatpants, hats, beanies, shirts, you name it, they make it. You're supporting a good quality Pittsburgh-based company, tattoo shop owner, apparel, merchandise company owner. I'm Joe Ball, great guy. It would really help him out if you checked out his stuff. And like I said, use promo code BBE10. I wear it on the road, when I'm at home, when I'm running errands. And if you're a tattooed scumbag like me, you'll love it. It's great stuff. So make sure you check them out. We do want to thank Legion Artworks, 5 Milligram Artworks, R3 Graphics, and Roush Designs for everything that they do for the company and for myself. So much love to them. And if you're looking for any updated news on Brutal Business right now, any of the events that are not happening because of the shit going on around the world that have been postponed, any news on that, any shows coming up further down the year, the modeling shoots, releases, paranormal team, video game team, no matter what it might be, if you want to find out what we're doing, go to teambrutalbusiness.com and you can check out everything that we got coming out. Always new stuff coming daily. So, if you've tuned into the last couple episodes, we've certainly had some great interviews, great guests, as we always do. So hopefully, if you haven't got to see them, you can go back and check them out sometime soon. Tonight's episode is going to be another one of those great ones. Nomad1c, born in Chicago, Illinois, October 1990, a veteran of the United States Army and currently serving in the United States Navy. Nomad1c is lyrical storyteller, writing about dealing with internal conflicts as well as very relatable personal struggles. Complemented by hard-pounding, emotionally grasping beats, Nomad1c is not a hip-hop artist you want to overlook. And I certainly believe that that's true, and that's why I have him on the show tonight. And I'm very excited to bring to you guys Nomad1c. How you doing, brother?
Hey, Skippy. Thanks for having me on your show. Doing pretty well, though. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. I'm glad to hear it, brother, and I appreciate you coming on the show, especially under the conditions. I know that it's a little late where you're at now. For those listening, he is across the world right now serving, so he's tuning in pretty late in the evening. You said it's 3 o'clock in the morning there, correct?
That is correct. 3:06 on the dot.
You know what, folks? That right there shows dedication to be, 3 o'clock in the morning and you doing an interview on a Thursday for your passion and your love, which is music, is a great thing. So much love to you for that. That's what's up, brother.
Most definitely. Thank you.
Now, I wanted to bring you on the show because I've been listening to you for a little while, came across your music a little while back, and we've been kind of mingling in certain circles, and it's just kind of been something that's been bound to happen, and finally it's coming to fruition. So why don't you tell the folks, who you are, how you got started in music, what brought you to become Nomad1c?
All right. Let's start early on. So, I've had an interest in music since I was a kid. My parents, thankfully, were nice enough to start me off with drum lessons growing up, and I grew up practicing and performing songs at church. So that kind of got me started. But as I got older, I became more of a metalhead. So I still have a lot of metal-like influences in the music now. Now, fast forward into Nomad1c, how that came to be. I was actually deployed. I was in Afghanistan in 2016 when one random day, I shit you not, I'm just laying down in my rack, and the alarm had gone off because it's a common occurrence over there. They're called IDFs, and direct fires. So essentially mortar rounds where they try to mortar the base. It's a common occurrence. It woke me up this particular night, and I've also been writing poetry for a long time. So that night I just had the random idea, you know what? I've always had an interest in doing music as far as hip hop is concerned. Let me go and just do it. So I started researching the legal circumstances that goes with that, how to protect myself legally. I actually paid a lawyer for 2 hours of his time to educate me on how to protect myself legally with copyrights and all things of that nature.
Well, it's important to do, man. I mean, a lot of people overlook that.
Exactly. So I made sure I educated myself because, over the years, even before I started actually doing music, I would read all these crazy horror stories of how these people just get screwed. In fact, I don't remember his exact name. I believe he went by Juicy World, that 20-year-old kid who just died.
Yeah.
He had that well-known song, Lucid Dreams. I'm actually a big fan of that song. But that kid actually, he never thought he was going to make it big. His producer for that song, it's a direct rip from. My apologies, I can't remember the name of the band, but the sample guitar was a direct rip from, I believe it was Scorpions.
Okay.
I could be wrong though. It was a direct rip, so the band sued the crap out of him, and now they collect a good portion of his royalties because he didn't go through the proper sampling clearances and copyright, etc.
Oh, it'll trip you up, man. A lot of people, like I said, they overlook that stage. They think that they focus on writing the music, they focus on appearance and the video and the look of you when you're on stage and all of the other things that are important, but they look over and pass by the legality side of copyrights, branding, all the things that you need to have, like song sample clearances, you know what I mean? Like you have to have that signed off, or you can be sued for using that. And a lot of people don't think about it. It's amazing talking to a lot of artists who don't have their music protected, and it's a lot.
It's an unfortunate reality in the music world, especially with upcoming artists. So I figured if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this right. I'm going to educate myself. That's why I paid a lawyer. Then came the challenge of trying to find a producer that I liked, and I've been pretty fortunate. I became good friends with this producer to this day, Luke Goons. Major shout out to them. They've done a good bulk of my production. So I got started with that. We've had a relationship, and I've just been. So after Afghanistan, I went home for a bit, and I hit the studio and I recorded my EP in 2 studio sessions. My first EP, The Infliction.
Wow. Okay.
And I've just been hustling ever since.
No, that's what's up, man. And when the first time you stepped into the booth, like seriously stepped into the booth, did you feel it? Did you did you know at that point that's something you wanted to do for the rest of your life?
Oh, most definitely. However, it's funny. I'm gonna call it, for lack of a better expression, my rap voice. I actually don't listen to that first EP. I don't go back to it because I don't like the way I sound. I haven't quite at that point in time discovered my quote unquote rap voice. So that's a little fun fact. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people feel that way when it comes to listening to their older material. I'm definitely right there with them.
You have to craft it, you know what I mean? Like it might still sound like you, but there's over time you just craft it tighter and tighter, and you get that certain rap voice, like you said. That's it. Like when you listen, it's that rapper. And it takes a little bit to get there.
Oh, absolutely. Consistency, practice. Yeah, and I'm always writing. I can't help it. It's given the nature of my job. It has a lot of natural stresses that are inherent to this career of mine. The military is what I'm referring to. There's a lot of natural stresses that go with that, being away from family, etc. And in some occasions danger, but that comes and goes depending on the location. There's stresses that come with that, so those stresses feed into a lot of my music. It's almost a form of catharsis.
Well, I would imagine it would have to feed into the music because you have to let those emotions out. Being away from family, being far away, being in danger from time to time, like you said, depending upon location, all those things, whether the incident itself or it's just the things over time wearing, they do take a toll on you if you don't have a way of getting them out. So music's a great stress reliever, and it allows you to really blow off that steam. So if you didn't have that, you'd have to find something. If you don't let it out, you snap.
Absolutely. It's very important to one's mental health as well, to have an important outlet. Writing, doing music, it's a very important outlet for a lot of people, myself included.
Now, you said you started, obviously, you told us about your hip-hop, but was your writing poetry prior to that, you said? Did you do that for a good little bit before you started writing raps?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I should have elaborated more on that. So, yeah, I've been writing poetry since I was a kid. 7, 8 years old, literally 7 or 8 years old. In school, they gave us homework to write a little poem, and I just got into it. I remember I just got into it, and I just kept up the practice as the years went on.
It's funny you say that, man. That's actually kind of how I started out. Is I was writing poetry. I was young. I was in school. They gave us a reading class assignment of writing some type of poem, and I tried hard as hell to write it, and I thought it was okay, but like whenever I read mine compared to everybody else, it was a noticeable amount of difference, and the teacher was very impressed, and she really motivated me to want to write. She's like, you should write more of that, and I continued to start writing poetry, and then it just got better and better, and then it led into like, well, you know what, if I can do poetry, what if I threw it to a beat? You know what I mean? And then I started doing that, and I'm like, all right, home run. You know what I mean? Like just knew at that point.
Yeah, that right there, what you said, that's exactly how it went for me. I used to experiment with a couple of buddies back home. We would find some random YouTube beats and just write some raps to them. I realized I had the potential, but at that point in time, I didn't take it seriously. It wasn't, again, till 2016 when I was in that deployed environment that I took it seriously and wanted to pursue it. And life is funny that way.
Yeah, so you think if it wouldn't have been for your tours that you did, that you wouldn't have gone into music in this sense?
Truth be told, no, probably not. I think life happens for a reason.
It does.
I think everything happened the way it was supposed to happen, and it's happening the way it's supposed to happen.
And it's weird, man. I'm a firm believer in that myself, that there's some sway in different directions, but there is a path that certainly happens around us, and it's a trippy ride sometimes where you go a direction that you know it's kind of wild, and it leads to all these other things that would have never happened if you wouldn't have went that direction.
Absolutely.
Do you go left or do you go right? I mean, that's the big question every day of our lives, folks. You got to pick something, and every choice certainly has its own route. But we appreciate, obviously, you taking that route, you serving your country, and on top of that, becoming who you are today in the music scene. I certainly look forward to throwing a little bit out at these folks. I usually, after the first portion, like to throw one of the songs on. Which of the four would you like to slap them with?
That's a good question. Give me a quick second. Let me see what I sent you. Let's start with, we can start with my most recent single, Avarice. So I can give you some quick backstory on that song, actually. There's a reason.
1 second. I'm trying to see if I have the one. You sent me World of Midnight, 4 a.m. in the Shadows, and beyond. And then, no, there it is. Okay, I'm sorry. It was hidden. I was looking for it. I'm like, where's the fourth song? I lied, folks. Go ahead and tell us about it.
So the single for that cover was actually taken here in so for those listening in, I'm currently in Africa. I won't get into specificities as to what country I'm in, but I'm here in Africa. I took that picture in Africa at this location that I happened to stumble upon. So when you're looking at the cover for that single, it looks like a dump site, but the sad reality is that it's actually a small village, even though it looks like a garbage disposal site.
Wow.
There's no better way to put it. That's literally what it looks like. So I had written the song before I arrived here in anticipation of me coming here and what I might witness. But seeing it in person, really, I was pretty fortunate that I was able to capture the theme of the song and have the picture to go with it for the cover. So it kind of just worked out full circle. It's a personal favorite song of mine because of the whole experience attached to that.
I would imagine, man. I mean, I think, like you said, it's a complete eye-opener that unless you've been there, and I can't say because I certainly haven't, but I have somewhat of an idea, how shocking that is, because anytime you're in a third-world country of any sort, it's eye-opening, and it makes you really appreciate your life and what you have and say, holy shit. So
absolutely.
Once again, much love to you for being over there and doing what you can. I know it's a hard situation, but let's hear what you had to say on it. This is Avarice. We'll be right back on Uncovering the Underground.
Silent whispers of those that once lived. I can't make sense of this descendants. How many will die to fulfill your greed?
response yet. But already striking so many women and children. When you gonna stand for something other than yourself? Maybe later. Suffering and private, the coward before the giant. How does 1% control the planet? It's frightening. Somebody better tell me how the hell did this happen? I don't wear a uniform to go sit on the sidelines. Truth is left with hate speech is so disgusting. Don't want the world to hate me for the lies I'm divulging. I wanna bring some positivity from once I'm exhausted. Together we can bring about the change that we all need.
First we gotta break free from shackles. We gotta stop fighting ourselves. Refusing to change is insanity. If you want out this cage, use the key.
This virus needs a host, you've been diagnosed. When a fetish is a deception, they really get you believing they got the best intentions. Turn around, let the wind run back to your masters. Keep doing their bidding, talking back is forbidden. Suffering and private, the coward before the giant. How does 1% control the planet? It's frightening. Somebody better tell me how the hell did this happen? I don't wear a uniform to go sit on the sidelines. Truth is left with hate speech is so disgusting. Don't want the world to hate me for the lies I'm divulging. I wanna bring some positivity from once I'm exhausted. Together we can bring about the change that we all need. Suffering and private, the coward before the giant. How does 1% control the planet? It's frightening. Somebody better tell me how the hell did this happen? I don't wear a uniform to go sit on the sidelines. Truth is left with hate speech is so disgusting. Don't want the world to hate me for the lies I'm divulging. I wanna bring some positivity from once I'm exhausted. Together we can bring about the change that we all need.
Waiting for the endless depravity. Why rely on luck when it can't see? Stooping to your level so gallantly. Satisfy your pride, come fight with me.
It's time we got up and ripped apart all the weasels that wanna treat us as equals. I want them to get a needle. Malingering motherfuckers was one of these suckers. Wanted the people are growing tired, they're hungry and feeling weary. There's fire within their bellies, they feel it with hate and anguish. The people that want some changes, it's about time you get the back in. I'm racing towards the finish, replenish the pain with feelings. Sick meaning beneath the surface, maybe someday it'll be worth it. Suffering and private, the coward before the giant. How does 1% control the planet? It's frightening. Somebody better tell me how the hell did this happen? I don't wear a uniform to go sit on the sidelines. Truth is left with hate speech is so disgusting. Don't want the world to hate me for the lies I'm divulging. I wanna bring some positivity from once I'm exhausted. Together we can bring about the change that we all need. Suffering and private, the coward before the giant. How does 1% control the planet? It's frightening. Somebody better tell me how the hell did this happen? I don't wear a uniform to go sit on the sidelines. Truth is left with hate speech is so disgusting. Don't want the world to hate me for the lies I'm divulging. I wanna bring some positivity from once I'm exhausted. Together we can bring about the change that we all need.
All right, guys, we are back on Uncovering the Underground Radio. As always, I'm your host, Skippy Ickum, and that was Nomadic. And how do you say that song, brother?
Avarice. Common spelling.
Okay. Want to make sure, as our conversation earlier, folks, have you ever had a word that you said to someone and they said the opposite, and you're like, no, that's not how it's said, and then you get in an argument with it? We were having a funny background conversation before the show earlier about that. So avarice. I wanted to make sure I was saying it right before I said it backwards or left and right. Everybody's so sensitive these days on things, so I got to make sure I watch myself.
You are. No, definitely avarice. As far as a word, hell, let me start with the most obvious. Nomadic, my artist name. It's not common spelling, as you've noticed, so it's Nomad, the number 1, and the letter C. So a lot of people, for some reason, are inclined to say Nomad1c. And that's been a common misnomer with my artist name.
They're going real hard into it. They're like, yeah, I love that Nomad number 1C.
I've actually had an individual call me exactly that.
Fuck yeah, I love that guy. Shout out to you, brother. Whoever did that, you're the man.
Yo, what's up, Nomad number 1C? Somebody actually did that to me one time. Fucking hilarious.
You just go by that now. What's up, guys? Thank you for having me out tonight. I am Nomad, the number 1 in lowercase c. Make sure you don't forget that. We're going to have fun.
So there's this underground artist that he's going to be on a future album, because I already have a song recorded with him, and I'm also on his recent album. So this artist goes by Magadino the Chemist.
Yes, I'm familiar with him. Yeah.
Yep, I'm friends with him, and I'm pretty cool with him. We've had some conversations several times. We had like a 4 or 5 hour conversation on the phone about a week or 2 ago. So we were catching up quite a bit. I was talking to him, and I had to give him a little bit of a roast, because he called me Nomad1c on the actual track that's already
yes.
released.
Oh shit. You know what? It was funny because you mentioned that guy, and I was on Amazon Unlimited, and I was listening to some different music on a playlist, and a song came on. I'd never heard of the artist, and he was pretty dope, and it happened to be him. So I've never talked to him before. I don't know anything about the guy, but I have heard a couple of his tracks starting that day. I've listened to him a few times. Pretty dope.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely cool with him in the real world and also through music. Most definitely, he's definitely pretty dope.
And you got
there's a lot of dope artists.
Oh, there is a lot of dope artists out there. You have a fan comment right now. Much love to Nomad1c, one of the best in the underground. Much love to you, Chris, for your comment. We appreciate it.
I second that motion. Thank you, Chris.
Oh,
okay. I just logged in. Yep, Chris Stevens. I see you, brother. Thank you.
And you were saying,
yep.
You were saying there's a lot of artists in the underground, and I'm sorry I cut you off. I was trying to read the comment.
Oh, no, it's okay. Yeah, feel free. Now, what were you asking? I'm sorry.
I said you were in the middle of saying something about a lot of the underground artists out there, and I said I jumped in on the comment and interrupted you.
Oh, no worries. Yeah, there's a lot of good talent in the underground. There's a couple I keep an eye on. There's definitely some dope talent. So a couple of heavy hitters. It's funny because one of them comes to mind, Sinister.
Yes.
So me and him, I've done 2 shows with him, and I'm also friends with him in person. I've been to Atlanta twice, hang out with the dude.
Okay.
Definitely a good dude. It's funny because we started at roughly the same amount of time. It's really awesome seeing how fast he's progressing.
It's funny. People really do progress quickly sometimes, man. If you come up with them and all of a sudden they blow up, you know what I mean? They start doing good things, and you're like, damn, look how good he's gotten in such a short time.
Oh, it's amazing how that happens. I've definitely seen it. And on the flip side of that, it's also funny how when I started doing hip hop, I'm not going to mention these artists by name, but it's funny because you see certain artists they were really big when I'm starting, but now they're not.
Yeah, it came and went quick.
Mm-hmm. So it's like a wave. It comes and goes, and music is ever evolving with the trends. So it's an interesting scene to be in.
It really is, man. You got to be part of it when it's at the right wave. You know what I mean? Like if you're on the back end of the wave, you're not going to get much action out of it. If you're on the front end, you're going to get launched. And it's just all about being at the right place at the right time. And it does go through fits. You know what I mean? Where at one point, underground hip hop in a certain area or a certain scene might just be blazing. You're killing it. You're doing good. And then 2 summers later, nothing. You know what I mean? It's just gone. It came and gone like the wind. So it's very interesting in the underground scene. I've watched it sway a lot of different directions over the years, from underground horrorcore rap or hardcore rap being very big to being like banned and outcast to being big again to kind of fading away again. It's like it goes through waves.
Absolutely. I've only been professionally doing Nomad1c for just about 3 years, barely past 3 years this last March, because my very first release came out March 2017. So I'm just at about 3 years.
Yeah,
and
so you got a ride to go still.
Yeah, and just a short amount of time that I've been around this Nomad1c, I've seen a lot of trends already come and go.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like an ever-changing beast, and you got to. One thing we say on a lot of our episodes is you got to adapt or die, and a lot of people be like, "I don't change for nothing." Well, that's fine. It's okay to be true to yourself, but you have to be sensibly true to yourself. And by that, I mean you can be true, but you got to be smart enough that if you're trying to launch yourself in the scene and do bigger things, then you got to not necessarily you got to diversify. You can switch up the sound of your music and still keep it true to yourself, and it not be doing anything wrong or an injustice to yourself. And some people are like, "No, I'm only going to do this." Well, you know what? You're going to disappear. People are going to forget about it. If you're okay with that, then I'm okay with it too. But if you're not, then you're going to have to diversify. And a lot of people don't get that.
It's true. And truth be told, I've been more conscious of that as well. It's smarter to learn from somebody else's mistakes before you make them. So I like to observe. I think it's an important attribute as a person to observe, whether it's music or your professional environment, etc. Being observant is a very valuable skill. It's important to observe, learn, and if you can apply it to yourself before you learn the hard way, then you're all the better for it.
No, 100% agree, because I think the quietest one in the room is usually the one that walks away with the most knowledge. Because everyone else is chit-chatting and talking amongst themselves trying to gain it, and the person sitting in the corner not talking is picking up everything, and he just walks away with the most. So it's good to just kind of observe what's around you, what's going on, what trends are coming. If you know that right now is time to make a clubbish type beat, type, banger, do it, but do it in a way that's true to yourself and it fucking pounds in the face, you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be radio style, but do it in a way that people are going to be like, oh shit, that style beat or that sound right now is going to catch, and you have to kind of do that if you want to grow. And I mean, just all about, what you're looking for out of it. Not you specifically, but I mean anyone out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, generally speaking. And also experimenting with different, different types of beats as well. Maybe you don't want to switch up your whole style, but at least experiment with different types of beats. I've been flirting with more old school hip hop type of beats recently. Sometimes I'll rap a couple of them live just to kind of gauge how people feel about them. And so thankfully it's nice because there's still a lot of people that legitimately do appreciate old school hip hop, even though it appears to be a dying breed these days.
I love old school hip hop. I like when someone tears up new style raps on an old style beat.
Most definitely.
You know what I mean? If you can really just dominate the mic and you can do it to a badass old beat, you can just go nuts on it. Whereas like the newer style beats just really don't capture it the same way.
I can't quite describe why it doesn't capture it that way, but it's just different.
Nostalgia.
I can't quite explain why.
It's the nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we got a comment here. I just love being an underground fan. There's so much heart, soul behind the music. Absolutely, we agree. That's why we do it.
I definitely, yeah. Let me add on to that comment a little bit. So, she said specifically, I just love being an underground fan because there's so much heart and soul behind the music. I couldn't agree with that more. To elaborate on that, when the underground, this is just my personal observations, and the underground coming up, a lot of people write more about a lot more personal struggles versus the mainstream, where mainstream caters to the generic shit, right? Drugs, music, turn up, club, etc. So a lot of artists that are mainstream came up in the underground. Everybody, it's not, start off known. So everybody was underground at some point. And it's funny because for me, I've always appreciated the fact that I am in the underground, because I feel like it allows me a little more slack to be more honest with my music versus being a mainstream artist. I don't know if that makes sense to you.
No, it makes full sense, man. I mean, you can be yourself. Like I said, you can still do different type sounds when you want to, but you can be yourself in the underground and make something soulful and something the fans connect with and love. And I think the problem with it is when people want fame so bad, or they sign a contract, they start to get shaped a little bit, or they shape themselves over time because they're so focused on getting big that they start to not focus on the actual music. And the more and more they do that, the number and number they become, and that's why the music loses all feeling. It's just numb music. Like you said, party, let's go do drugs, let's get women, let's drive fast cars. That's great, but it's like that. There's nothing to that. You don't have the passion anymore because you're only focused on just trying to get the money and trying to get the car. So you're rapping about having the things that you really wish you did have, rather than just focusing on what's, from your heart, which is why everyone started music in the beginning with. It's crazy. A lot of people end up losing focus of why they began. Absolutely.
No, you're right. You hit the nail on the head with that. And that's something that I try to be conscious of it. I will experiment with a couple of goofy songs. Trust me, I have a couple out there that I just haven't released yet, or haven't been able to record because of my current geographical location.
I'm glad you brought that up, because that was one of the questions I actually wanted to ask you is how that process is for you with being on active duty. How do you find time to write when you do write? What's your writing style? Are you a notepad and pen guy, or are you a type it in your phone? So tell us a little bit about your writing process and when you get chances to record and how that works with you due to your situation.
Perfect. So I got you. So I will start with the writing process for myself. So I'm definitely not a notepad guy. Given that I don't really do much handwriting, and even in my profession, most of it is everything's computer. Naturally, like my handwriting, I'll be honest, I've gotten worse at handwriting. So I developed a bad habit of writing in big and pretty much all caps when I write in when I actually
it's like
write.
You're screaming everything you say.
Pretty much that way. I started doing that a few years ago, only because it was easier for people to more. It was more legible for people.
Okay.
So that I started that habit. So as a result, I don't like to write anymore. So I do everything on my phone. So I do all my writing on my phone. I actually do. I have a dictionary open at all times, so I can reference. Sometimes I'm a little skeptical about a word, so I go back to the dictionary and I verify that it actually means what I intended to mean, so that I don't, and so I don't sound like a dumbass when I'm rapping it.
Because you know damn well someone will call you out on it. You'll get away with it for 3 months. You'll feel good about it. You're like, oh, I fucked that word up, but no one caught it. Ha ha. And then all of a sudden, one day you get a message from a random fan.
Yep.
Or a random hater, I should say. And he'll be like, hey, you fucked that up. You suck.
Hey, people are petty enough to.
Oh, they are though,
really
man. They'll hunt you down.
They go out of their way to spell check somebody on a fucking Facebook post. So they're definitely gonna go out of their way to call me out on misuse of a word in a fucking song.
It's not common, but I'll tell you what. There's always that one though. There's always that one out there that he just has nothing fucking better to do than that specifically.
Absolutely. So my writing process, I type it all. That's just me, and that's also it's easier than carrying a bunch of notepads around for me. So, and I back everything up on the cloud, so it's a lot easier for me to manage it on a phone. So I write everything on my phone. Usually, it's always written during the witching hour. It's always after midnight when I do most of my writing. I'm insomniac, so being up at this hour doesn't really bug me. So, it's always after midnight because, once the day is over, throughout our days, we keep busy with our responsibilities, whether that's family, work, a combination of the two, etc. We keep busy, so we're distracted. We're not really thinking about our thoughts and the stresses that we're actually feeling. It's not until you hit the sack, you're laying down, that you start to wind down and you start thinking about all these things, all these late night thoughts. And that's when my creativity's at an all-time high, and that's when I just start channeling all those sporadic thoughts, stresses, circumstances that I'm dealing with, whether it be emotional, love, etc. I start channeling that into music, and I begin my writing that way. So that's a part of that's a part of my writing process. Everybody's a little different, but that's kind of how it works for me.
Well, question with you on that. So whenever you're writing, I always get curious of how people do their writing style, because you hear a lot of different answers. Some people are strictly pad and pen and they lug around a couple notebooks, which I don't do that. I mean, that's just a pain in the ass to do. You know, and you got the computer option too, but then what if the computer, goes down or something happens to your phone? So there's a lot of different perspectives on there. But something else I always like to ask that's kind of a part of that question is, when you start to write, do you specifically write start to finish of one song and then move to the next? Or are you someone who jumps around? Because I'm surprised at how stern people are on that answer. Some are like, no, specifically one song, start to finish, then the next song. Other people are like, oh, I'll work on 6 songs at one time. What's your take on that?
I believe it's short-minded to say that you have to do it one way or the other, because that's not the way life works. That's my personal perspective. Me personally, I bounce around with doing different songs, because sometimes the certain subject for a certain song, I may not be feeling it at that moment. I'd rather write it when I'm feeling it, because the words come out more authentic. I can better capture what I want to convey in the song. Sometimes I may not. I got a lot of songs I'm writing right now. One of them, I'll be honest, it's a very depressing song. So I'm not depressed right now. So I'm not going to go back and touch that song right now. So I bounce back and forth between songs all day long.
I think that's important. I know that there's no way I personally could work on one song start to finish always, because there's times where I just run into a rut in a song and I'm just not feeling it, as you said. And instead of trying to force it to be done, I might not feel something that goes along with that for a month. It might be a month and a half. So during that month and a half, instead of just sitting in the rut, I'll work on 2 other songs and get those done or get those half done. And then one day, for some reason, all of a sudden, I'm like, you know what, I feel like I have something for that other song, and then I bang out the rest of it. But you have to let it strike you. You can't force it. So I'm glad to hear that you have that feeling as well.
Exactly, because sometimes I may not. Now, it's a little, if I'm doing a feature for somebody, that's my priority. I knock that song out immediately. I don't want to sit on that.
Agreed.
Yeah, I like to get that out the way. But with songs, and sometimes it's just, so I like to collect my beats ahead of time. So I'll bounce back and forth between the beats, and I'll see what kind of captures my mood at that moment, and I'll work off of that as well. And I'll choose to write that way.
Now, are you an artist that can write? Because I certainly am not. I'll be the first to tell you. But are you an artist or a rapper that can just pretty much go to anything? Some people can throw any beat on, and whether they would be like their choice or not might be a different story. But they could literally drop a flow and write a killer rap to any song. Me, I'm very, very specific when I listen to beats. I can listen to 10 beats I absolutely love, that they're amazing. I give kudos to the producer, but I would never be able to write to them. But then I can throw that 11th song on and be like, this is my shit, and pound out the whole song in an hour. It just depends. I mean, how do you feel on that?
I have to back you up on that one. I'm kind of the same way. I'm very picky about beats. I've only done a handful of features, and before I do a feature for somebody, I have to hear the beat.
Yeah,
I have to actually want to rap to it. I can't just generically start rapping to whatever beat or song somebody sends me, because if I'm not feeling it, it's going to be really tough for me to want to write to it.
I agree with that. I'm a dick too sometimes, like not like purposely, but people will message me about features and ask me, I want to do a feature with you. What's the deal on it? I always say, well, I'll tell you what. Here's my price for 1 second. I want to hear the beat, and I want to hear what you did to it to see if I want to be on it. I'm like, to me, it's not just about making the money of the song. If I have no desire to be on that song, I don't give a shit what you're offering me to be on it. I'm going to let music that I support and stand behind be released. And I don't know how many times people have hit me up about features and sent me a song, and I'm like, oh, bro, I'm sorry, I just can't do it. And whether that makes me a dick or not, I'm blunt as fuck. I'm like, yeah, bro, it's not going to happen, but thank you.
Nah, fuck that, bro. I mean, if they want to call you a dick for it, so be it. But, I mean, it's also, you mentioned it, you beat me to the punch. It's about what you want to put your stamp on, what you want to put your name to. That's the other thing for me is, I want it to be a good song. I don't care if the artist is known or unknown, as I just want to be confident that it's a good song, and I want to contribute to a good song. And one other thing I'll add to that is that I also care a lot about the quality, the recording quality. I don't want to have quality recording vocals for myself, only to slap it on a song that has shitty mixing and mastering.
Yep.
Because it throws off the whole thing. It just doesn't sound right.
Well, that's another part of it. I mean, people have sent me songs before that it wasn't bad. They did a decent verse and it was an okay song and beat, but they would send it to me and it would be mixed and mastered in such a shit way that I tell them no, and they're like, oh, you're not feeling it, bro. I'm like, no, it has nothing to do with me not feeling it. There's no way I could make myself sound that shitty. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not even trying to say that to be a dick, but I'm saying, like, literally, like, your quality blows, so I'd have to fuck up my sound to sound like you. Like, automatically when I record, it's going to sound more clear than that. So, unless you either re-record it, or I can't do it. You know what I mean? And it's just funny. Like I said, it's all about putting your stamp on it, and that's been my thing for a long time. Is I have a lot of music out, but I stand behind every song that's ever been released.
And that's I'm going to reference Eminem for what you just said, because Eminem himself has said he will not do features for just anybody. Whether I agree with the people he's featured on or done songs with is a different story, but the fact that he stands by putting his stamp on music regardless of the price, I can respect that.
Yeah, no, it's admirable, you know what I mean, for someone to to say, like, I want my honor to stay intact. I want to feel good about what I've done. I don't give a fuck about the money. I want to put something out that I stand behind and support. And I think he's certainly done that. Whether like you said, you agree fully with some of the choices that he's made. He's one of those ones that everything he's ever touched, whether you like it or not, whether old or new, he's killed it. He might not like the new style, for some people, but you can't say that he's not murdering it.
Exactly.
It's ridiculous.
So that's why I had to make sure I had to choose my wording carefully, because just because I may not like certain, that touches on one of my pet peeves that I see in music, in every genre, all across the board. When people don't like certain music, they automatically call it trash or garbage, just because they don't like it.
True.
Even though the music may not actually be trash, you just don't like that music. There's a difference.
And there's a big difference, and I think people do use that kind of carelessly, where it's an amazing artist, but it's not music that you are attuned to, so you're like, oh, this dude's fucking trash. Meanwhile, no, this guy's a genius. It's just not your shit, you know what I mean? Whereas there's people that come on, or people that send you music and you listen to, and it's trash. Like, you, buddy, get a different job. You suck. Don't fucking pick up a mic, because you're never going to be any good. There's people that you just know when you listen to, like, this isn't for you. But you have to know the difference, and I hate when I see people. I'm not really a big mainstream guy, but there's some mainstream shit I hear from time to time that's amazing, and I'll hear other underground cats talking mad smack on it because it's not what they would listen to, and it pisses me off. You know what I mean? Just like you said, be realistic about it.
Yep, exactly. That's like, hell, I'm actually a fan of Kevin Gates, even though he's ratchet mainstream. But
you like what you like. You know what I mean? It catches your ear.
Yeah, he's good though. The dude actually raps, so I fuck with it.
I think that's the important thing, man. As long as they're actually putting down some lyrics and actually putting in some feelings to it, then it doesn't matter if they're mainstream or not. Absolutely.
I think one phenomenal lyricist, mainstream, is J. Cole.
Yeah, J. Cole's very good. Me. You know who I like is what's his name right now? I can't think of it. He's not that mainstream. He was on a song with Eminem not too long ago.
Joyner?
Yeah, that motherfucker can write stories like unbelievably. I mean, it just blows my mind. Locksmith would be one of my absolute favorites of all time, though.
Locksmith's a fucking monster, absolutely.
I would have to say that I put him up there in like the top 2 or 3 lyricists of all time. I mean, he just goes and goes, and it was such penmanship and such intelligence that it blows my mind. It's not even the fact that he can rap good and write good; it's the fact of the intelligence.
The intelligence as well.
Yeah, I'm like, this dude's doing scholar lyrics right now. 1,000,000 miles an hour, nonstop for 6-7 minutes straight. It just blows my fucking mind on some of his freestyles.
Yeah, he went off on, I think it was on Sway or The Wake Up Show, one of the other, one of those 2 shows he was on recently, semi-recently, and he was just spitting some phenomenal knowledge. Like, it wasn't it wasn't just spitting dope bars. It was just phenomenal all around. It was amazing penmanship, like you said. It was fucking epic.
It goes through stages, because he goes through stages when you're watching it. Your first reaction is like, damn. Then you're like, wow. Then you're like mind blown, like, holy fuck. And then there's the stage where you don't say anything and you just stare with your jaw open, and you're like, you're like, okay, I just seen some next level Jedi shit, and that's where I feel he is on the scope of writing. Is his penmanship's up there. 2 of my favorite writers of all time are him and Method Man.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely.
Now, as far as favorites, who's a couple of your favorite artists right now in hip hop, whether old or new? Who would you say are some of your go-tos?
So for that, I bounce all over the place. Currently I'm listening to Sadistic. I've always been a humongous fan of Sadistic. He's not super big, but he does have a name for himself.
Yeah.
So Sadistic, because for me, that is the embodiment of pure poetry translated to hip hop. That is some of the most intelligent poetry that I've seen in hip hop.
You don't see a lot. I mean, you see a lot of things stem from poetry, but you don't see a lot of things stay poetry.
Yeah, and I listen to a lot of his lyrics. I read a lot of his lyrics as well as listen to them, and it's just amazing. because it also shows his education, how he's very educated in English, the way he writes and the references he makes, and I love that in music. Like I love it. I love education behind it. As far as the other underground artists, for me, Allah. I always fuck up the pronunciation. Alaksul Elu.
Yeah, Axe. Yeah, they. It's hard to say their name. They had to go with some name that like no one can fucking say. They're like, listen, we're gonna make a name that no one in the underground knows how to fucking pronounce right.
Yes. As far as those are two recent. As far as hip hop, most recently, I've been listening to those two cats, and I bounced around with a couple other singles from different people. Lyrizone. Been listening to him a bit more lately. I'm just waiting for him to put out an album.
I think he just released. He might be re-releasing Sweet Relief, which was the album he was working on. I did release it, but I think he pulled it back and was redoing it, I believe. Yeah,
I'm also really cool with him. No, he does have Sweet Relief. That's the last one I bought from him. He released that in November timeframe, I think it was.
Okay, I was gonna say I know he did release it, but I thought I heard him saying something about taking it back. I don't know. Never mind.
Yeah, so those are some underground artists I've been bouncing around with. As far as it's not even hip hop, mainstream. I've been more outside of underground hip hop. I've been more into metal. I'm a big metalhead. I've been listening to Hollow Prophet, Shadow of Intent, bouncing around with them too, Lamb of God, and a few other ones.
You can never go wrong with Lamb of God. It's one of my favorite bands of all time.
I love that band. Randy Blythe is a hell of a fucking lyricist.
Hell of a lyricist, and he's great live too, man. I've seen him like 9 or 10 times over the years, and I used to be a big mosher. I used to love going to shows all over the tri-state area and just fucking getting in these wild pits, and they had the greatest pits back in the day before they stopped them from doing the Wall of Death. Man, that shit was epic. It was just the craziest shit you could ever be involved with. I mean, literally 500-600 people charging each other and jumping into this giant sea of chaos, and it's something to experience. And if you have experienced it, you probably never will again because they don't allow it to happen. But it was a cool thing to do. It felt like being in war back in the day, in like Civil War. Like you're just charging the front line, and then you just collide with these other fucking people, and then you can't escape. It's just a sea of bodies.
Unfortunately, we've gotten so pussified that a lot of shows now restrict any crazy moshing. They're on it, at least in Chicago, Wisconsin, and cause I'm from Chicago, so and at least in those areas, they've gotten really strict with that shit.
Oh, a lot of shows don't even allow you to anymore. There are a lot of shows, if you start moshing, they come over and break it up. They're like, there's no moshing here. And you're like, I'm going to fucking heavy metal concert.
Yeah, exactly.
The fuck you mean I can't mosh? That's the point of being here. I don't anymore these days because I every hit I take now, I feel it a lot longer than I used to. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to take a step back a little bit as I got a little bit older. But moshing was my shit over the years, man. I've broken so many bones in the mosh pit, but I've fucked so many people up. We've had great times. Lamb of God to Devil Driver to everything in between.
Oh, fucking Devil Driver. That's another fucking band right there.
I was just listening to them the other day, their original album, man, the whole way to work. I have an hour drive to work every day, and I flipped this fucking album on that I hadn't listened to in 10 years, and I was just pounding it. I'm like, my God, I forgot how good these guys are.
Grin Fucked, etc. Yeah.
Grin Fucked, yeah, The Mountain, all these fucking great tunes.
Hold Back the Day, yep.
Hold Back the Day, yep. Great. That was one of my favorite metal albums of all time is that original Devil Driver album.
That one and the one that End of the Line. Those are my two favorites from them.
Yeah, great song. Great piece of work there.
So that's underground hip hop, a couple artists, and again I bounce around with a lot of different songs from different artists. Jelly Roll has a song on his new album that I like a lot. It's called Suicide.
I just heard his new album. I threw it on a couple weeks ago. I've only got one pass through it so far. I think an album always takes 2 good listens. I'm a 2 listener because the first time through any album, you're either going to know a couple things. You're going to like, nope, don't like it at all, never want to hear it again. You're going to love it, or it's going to fall into that gray stage where you're like, ooh, it has potential, but I really need to listen to it again. But I feel like any good album, that second pass through is when you're like, holy shit. The first one, you're really just picking up pieces, but the second time, you remember like, oh, in a couple seconds, I know he's going to do that part that I liked and picked up last time. And then it kicks in, you know what I mean? That's when you kind of fragment the pieces together and it comes to life.
Yep, absolutely. Jelly Roll, that album, A Beautiful Disaster by him, that's one of those albums for me. I didn't like all the songs at first, but listening to it a couple more times, I like to give albums a chance because I would hope that people do the same with me. So listening to it a couple times over again, and I'm like, oh shit, yeah, he's pretty fucking dope. I never gave him much of a listen before prior to this album.
One of my favorite artists out there, and I love it from the get-go, but every time I listen to it the second and third time, it just blows my mind, is Mercules. That motherfucker just blows my wig back on everything he does. I think, honestly, in my mind, he's one of the best up-and-coming artists in the scene right now.
He had a recent song with Tech and Hobson, didn't he? I think that's the last time I saw him.
I know he has a song on the new album with Hobson. I don't remember if that's the same one with Tech on it or not. It probably is. It all blurs together after a while, but I know that he had some killer fucking features on the new album, and he holds his weight on everything he does. I mean, he's a bar machine.
I have not given him enough of a listen, but I will take that into consideration.
Trust me, brother. You need to give it some listen. He kills it. I mean, if you listen to it the first time, you're probably going to be like, yeah, okay. You listen to it the second time, you really listen, you're like, wow. Any of the last two albums. I would say 2 albums ago would be my favorite. I can't remember the name of it right now, but the most recent one's dope as fuck, but 2 albums ago was his best work he's ever done.
I will definitely I just made a note out of that actually.
We got a comment. Everyone loves Jelly Roll, and he's just good people. He just seems like he'd be a fun guy to kick it with.
I'm big on lyrics, and I was paying a lot of attention to his lyrics. So I guess he used to struggle with drug usage, and that's what I took from the song "Suicide" on that album. And just the way he put that song together, that's really is like, okay, I have an appreciation for who he is as a person and how he conveys that into his music.
Yeah, there's a lot of feeling. Through his singing, he conveys a lot of feeling into his music.
That's another thing, too. I like the fact that he sings and he actually can sing well.
Yeah, it's not too common you hear that, man. A lot of people try to sing or they auto-tune or they do all kinds of crazy shit that ruins the fucking song. So it's good to hear that someone out there, that's doing what he's doing right now can hit it and hit the notes he needs to.
Yeah, like I've been taking vocal lessons for that reason, because if I'm going to do it, and I'm not quite there yet, but I'm still consistent with vocal lessons. So I've been doing vocal lessons via Skype. And same thing with metal vocals. I wanted to incorporate metal vocals into my music. So to do that, I needed to learn how to do them properly. So it actually cost me a pretty penny. But I went to New York City, Manhattan, and I learned straight from Melissa Cross. If you've ever heard of her.
Oh wow, no, I know Melissa Cross. Okay, that's pretty dope, man. That's the person you want to be going to. Her videos on YouTube years ago were crazy. We were watching that back whenever I was in a metal band years and years ago, watching her tutorials on how to scream and fry scream and death metal growl without hurting your vocal cords, to do exhales, not inhales, and all this crazy shit that she taught. That's I haven't heard that name in years.
Yep, she's a sweetheart. She's good fucking people. No, she's good people, and I recently did a Skype session with her. It's really hard to get a hold of her these days because she's always really busy, but I was able to get her on a did I say Skype interview? I'm sorry, I meant to say I got us mixed up. Freaking FaceTime session. I was able to get her.
Oh, they're all the same thing at the end of the day.
Yeah, I was able to get her video session, and we did 2 hours.
Well, that's what's up, though, man. That's a great teacher to learn from.
Yeah, so like anything, just got to keep practicing that as well. It's a little tough practicing in this environment, but I've been able to find some creative locations.
I was just going to say, that'd be interesting. Your fellow troops are looking over you. You're just fucking screaming in the corner. You know what I mean? They're like, what the fuck is this guy doing? That's
Actually, I can tell you a funny story. So when I first got here, this was like August. It was August of 2019 when I first got here. There used to be a guy who he was an active metal vocalist. He had a band back home. This guy, I would leave the cafeteria we all eat at the decentralized cafeteria that we have on base, dining facility. So, and they have their set hours, right? Dinner, lunch, etc. I was leaving dinner, and this guy would be jogging and just no fucks given, rah, like just, and everybody's looking at him, and this motherfucker did not give a shit. He just kept going, and it was the funniest fucking thing ever. One of the times that I caught him, I asked him, bro, like, hey, like, I'm gonna assume you're in the metal band because you're actually doing correct vocals without fucking you're not using your throat for one. So, and then he was telling me a little bit about it. Yeah, but let me rewind that back a bit. So he told me about that, and it just makes me think there's a lot of in the military too. I didn't quite appreciate this before I started doing music, but there is a lot of talent even throughout the military. The artist I mentioned earlier, Magadino the chemist, he's a Marine veteran, and Sinister, my buddy Scott, he's Army infantry veteran as well.
No, that's what's up, man. There's a lot of talent in the military, like you said. I mean, Diabolic the Monster's another veteran as well. That's a great cat in the scene. I mean, there's just a ton of them. I think there's something about that mindset. You know what I mean? That you're an open mind to be an artist. You're an open mind to want to serve your country, to travel, to go to different places and take on challenges. There's people that don't and shy away from any type of challenge, whether it's artistic, whether it's life experiences. There's those different type of I'm shut off and I'm open to it. And I think that's why you do run into a lot of artistic minds in the military.
It's a beautiful thing. There's an artist that I met here. He's I'm a little more ahead of him. He's barely starting, but he is super talented. He's a singer.
Okay.
And we're planning already to meet up when we're both out of here. We're gonna meet up in the States, and we're gonna do couple songs together. So that's something I'm looking forward to. But it's cool to be able to meet people and just want to make good music together. That's ultimately what I care about. Whether if I happen to quote unquote blow up or don't, I still want to make quality music. It helps me. It helps me vent. It's catharsis, like I mentioned earlier in the interview. And some people. And somebody will listen to it and they might like it and they might relate to it, whatever I'm singing, rapping about. So it's not just about me at this point. There's people that appreciate what we do as artists. And it's important to never forget that.
I agree 100%. And on that note, I'm going to throw on one of your other songs. And this one I'm picking this time. And this is with one of my favorite underground rappers there is. And this is featuring C-Mob. And this one's called 4 a.m. And we'll be back in just a few minutes on Uncovering the Underground.
Goddamn regret. The goddamn regret. Now I'll die. And I'll tell you what. The biggest regret of my life. I let my love go.
Got appointed out of the bar, it was 4 a.m. Doing the same old thing, I made a mess, I broke my glass. There goes my bottle of whiskey, I'm sure my liver will thank me. Walking home, I'm stumbling, so I grab the wall for support. There's an escort in the corner, goes by Carmen, tried to bargain, bitch. I'm not gonna pay for pussy, don't care. If you got the goodies, kept on walking. 10 minutes later, grabbed the key to my apartment, stepped inside, then took a leak, entered the bedroom, then told myself I need some sleep. My world was spinning, what the fuck was I thinking? Excessive drinking, trying to drown out her picture of me. The sound of squeezing the trigger, the voices linger. God, they sound like old friends, the ones who met their end. Overseas to the Taliban, this feeling has got to go. Now I'm feeling the vertigo, try my best not to spill my guts. Got a blade, I might take a cut, it ain't worth it to spill more blood. Staring at the ceiling, I know I need help with dealing. Yeah, I see my demon shadow. Well, hello my old friend, are you here to see me break? Tell me what's the going rate for a soul these days? Unafraid of the other side, maybe it's justified. Hiding behind my pride, I'm starting to lose sight. And I've cried myself to sleep, my brother's life I couldn't keep. I'm buried in my sorrow, don't you follow? Truth's a better pill to swallow. Grab the hatchet, get to digging. By tomorrow, the same night's repeating. I'm trying trying to maintain just to be vain. Now I don't give a fuck, I haven't been the same. Been stuck in a still frame, hairline's been receding. Becoming belligerent, I do what I want, but I gain respect like Switzerland. Those who are closest have told me I should see somebody, but how can I vent to someone who doesn't even know me? I got my baby girl, I miss her. In the past 2 years I've only seen her for 3 weeks. Was in the Middle East, all 2016 surreal. Her mother is screaming, I'm a deadbeat father. Fuck you bitch, that shit is falling. My reputation is something you'll never tarnish. Show no hesitation to cut you off, don't bother asking for a pardon. God forgives, nomadic doesn't. Reluctant to show compassion, repugnant to you, amassing an aversion I find enchanting. Enhanced by the electric cabinet, I'm putting in work despite all the pressure, still feeling inadequate. Here's to hoping when I wake up in the morning I'm feeling motivated. One more night frustrated, I'll take a shot of that Jameson. I see my demon shadow. Well, hello my old friend, are you here to see me break? Tell me what's the going rate for a soul these days? Unafraid of the other side, maybe it's justified. Hiding behind my pride, I'm starting to lose sight. And I've cried myself to sleep, my brother's life I couldn't keep. I'm buried in my sorrow, don't you follow? Truth's a better pill to swallow. Grab the hatchet, get to digging. By tomorrow the same night repeating.
Outside stumbling at the bar, I got 2 women with me and I don't know who they are. I'm thinking they slipped me something and I'm not gonna make it far. Now they're saying I need to come with them, just hop into their car. They're rubbing on me, trying to make me wanna leave. I know they're hoping so much things are done to me. I bet they wanna try to drain me of my seed. I should find a shovel I can place them safely underneath the ground now. I know it might sound foul, these women are out for blood, I'll be making these hounds howl. I only want people with good intentions around now. Trust people about as much as I trust when a clown smiles. Those who look like angels still can work for Satan. Demons caking on the makeup and they play men. I couldn't begin to tell you all the shit I'm facing. So much out there lurking in the darkness of the AM.
The fucking regret, and guilt. These things don't let anyone ever say to you, you shouldn't regret anything. Don't do that. Don't. You regret what you fucking want.
All right, folks, we are back on Uncovering the Underground, and that was 4 a.m. featuring C-Mob, and that was some brand new music that you definitely haven't heard before. So if you like that and you're listening out there, leave us a comment, and that's a good time to say if you are listening out there and you just tuned in, don't fret. You can check out the whole beginning of the show. We're an hour in at this point, and after this is done with the live portion, you can go back and listen from the beginning, download it, or stream it. So make sure you do that, as well as all of our other past episodes. But while we are still live, if you do want to interact with us or ask our guest a question, you can go through Spreaker.com or the Spreaker app, and that is Spreaker. That is our hosting company. You can go through their website, and it allows you to actually interact and talk with us and instant message us during the show. We have several people that have been talking to us during the show, and we'd love to have you join. So please feel free to do so, and you can let us know what you thought of that brand new song that's never been heard by you guys before. Why don't you tell us about that song?
Whew. All right. So, 4 a.m. So, it's a song on my upcoming album, Confessions. So, this album, I had initially released it in 2017, but to make a long story short, the quality was subpar because I tried recording myself instead of in the studio, since I was overseas and not back home in Chicago where I can actually hit the studio. The quality was subpar, so I just wasn't happy with it. I pulled the album out from online. I pulled it out from iTunes, Spotify, etc. And I knew I was going to redo it at some point. I finally re-recorded the album this last year in 2019. I was back home for 4 months. So in those four months, I re-recorded an 18-track album, and I recorded a future album as well, and several singles in anticipation for the time I'm going to be deployed to this location. So I was able to get that done. Now back to the original comment, 4 a.m. So it was a song I wrote this was my Afghanistan deployment. I lost a friend on that deployment. This guy that I knew, he died, and he was killed by enemy forces in a different part of Afghanistan than the one I was at. That's ultimately what inspired me to write the song. I was very depressed. I was also simultaneously dealing with issues with the mother of my child. At that point, we were separated already, but still going through the divorce process, arguing about a couple things, and just an accumulation of different things and circumstances, and that's what led me to writing that song. It was a very dark time when I was writing that song, but I definitely had to put get that out there, because somebody might, for anybody that did listen to the song or will hear it, somebody might relate to it in some capacity.
And that's all that matters, man. If you can write something that someone out there, it just connects with them and they feel that and it pulls on their heartstrings and hits a nerve, then right there you just accomplished what you needed to do. And chances are, if it hits someone like that, it's going to hit a lot more people like that.
No, absolutely. You're definitely correct on that.
No, like I said, that's with one of my favorite artists out there, C-Mob, so kudos to you on that song. That's a badass fucking song. I can't wait for the re-release of that album with some of the updates to it. Now, that's impressive, as you said, that during the short time that you were home, that you were able to pound out that much music in that short window.
It was tough because, back home, so I've been on back-to-back deployments now, hitting 5 years of back-to-back deployments. It's taken a mental toll on me, as imaginable, as well as my daughter and a few other, family. It's going to take a toll, right? So it's taking a toll, but in that time frame, with the toll that it took, I had to spend that time, those 4 months I was home, with family and friends, people that wanted to see me, especially because I was only home for such a short period of time. So I had to maximize. My daughter came first, so she was with me practically every day, every time I'm home, and the evenings and nighttime. Once my daughter, it was her bedtime, that's when it was time to hang out with my friends. So in those 4 months, I was averaging about literally 3 hours of sleep, if that. Sometimes I'd go 2 days straight, just so that I can make sure I spend the time with my daughter, do things with her, hang out with friends and family. And then on top of that, I also still had to spend a lot of time in the studio to record all this stuff. That in itself, it was over 100 hours in the studio. I don't know the exact amount, but it was definitely a lot of nights, overnights.
I would imagine, yeah. It's a lot of time spent in front of a microphone and tweaking and back and forth, which is a fun but grueling process.
It can be. As I continue to do music, I've become more of a detail Nazi with music.
Oh yeah. You got to be specific, but you can't be so specific that you don't get shit done. One of my past groups that I was in, my partner in that group was an awesome rapper and writer, and he was great at what he did, but he was so fucking picky at everything he did in the studio. Every line he would record, he'd be like, nope, I need to redo that again. We're like, no, bro, it's good. Like, you nailed it. And he's, nope, it could be better. And it slowed down the process so heavily that it got to a point where we just didn't allow it anymore. Like, you get 3 takes, and if you don't get it, too fucking bad. We had to do that for him and put the pressure on, because he would constantly be so heavy on his critiques that we was slowing production down. But it's very good to be stern with yourself. You just can't be out of the box.
Absolutely. No, you're right about that. But there's also a limit to it, like you said. Sometimes you think too much about every tiny little detail that now you're just nuking the shit out of the process and you're not getting anywhere.
Yeah, and you're being so specific that it actually takes the feeling out of the music. Like, you know what? Sometimes your mistakes are perfect parts of songs. There's songs that I fucked up how I wanted to say something, or the flow of it, or even changed a word that still fit, and I kept it. Because it ended up, after listening back to it, I'm like, holy shit, that made the song. You just never seen it coming.
Yep.
Now we have a question here. We have a question here from a fan that says, "Who in the underground has he not worked with? Would he most like to work with? preferably a top 5. So who is your top 5 artists right now that you haven't worked with that you would like to? Now, I'm guessing underground specifically, but if you had to pick some people that you haven't got to fuck with yet, who would it be?
As far as doing songs, there's a lot of people. I'm going to throw your name in there because we spoke about that offline.
Well, I appreciate that, man.
I'm going to throw your name in there for sure. I'm not just saying that to brown nose for the sake of this interview, but you have been on my radar for a while. I just haven't had the opportunity. So, damn, top 5. I'm trying to come up with this off the top of my head, so bear with me.
Heather's putting him on the spot. Thank you, Heather, for your question.
Let's see. Yes, definitely. I don't mind it. It's just a little blindsided, but it's okay. I don't mind it. I'm going to throw Dickles in there.
Okay, I got to work with Dickles, and he kills it every time, man.
He's a talented dude, not just musically. I mean, he's done every single one of my covers.
Yeah, he's great at the art
singles. Side. Yeah, he's amazing. I just haven't had, it's just the process of doing a song with him has just been eluded me, so that's definitely overdue. This one might not be as common of a name, but I might fuck up the pronunciation. Dalima. Dalima. Dalima.
Yes, I believe so. Yeah.
Yep. So, ever since I heard him, I've heard several songs by him. That's somebody that at some point I would like to get on a song with. It'll definitely be a double time song, given that he's that type of rapper. But I'm down for it. Billy from X. And, well, she specifically said who I haven't worked with. So I'm going to throw Z of Firing Squad in there as well.
Okay, Z's pretty dope too. Firing Squad's a great group, so you can't really go wrong with them or anybody on Brain Sick, honestly.
Yeah, because, again, I'm answering the question because she said specifically that I haven't worked with. So, because in the short time span, I've already done a lot of different songs with different rappers. Twisted ISO, etc.
I got one of my favorite collabs I've ever got to work with was talking about Brain Sick. I worked with King ISO before right before he left and joined Strange Music, and it was him and Dickles and Kamikaze, all on the same track together. Kamikaze, I don't believe, is on Brain Sick anymore. I could be wrong. I haven't checked in a while. And then King ISO left and joined Strange Music. It was a weird song to have done during the time period we did it. Everyone killed it, and then now you look and King ISO's doing fucking huge shit with tech, and I'm like, wow, like I got that right at the right time.
I can actually tell you a funny story with ISO.
Yeah, please do.
So, in 2016, when I'm putting together, I mentioned earlier in the interview, I learned as much as I could in a 2-hour time span about the legal aspect.
Yes.
I did that part, and then I covered going into production, looking for producers and stuff. So I've been listening to ISO long before I started doing music. I started with him through the Insanity Plea.
Amazing album.
That's when I really started listening to him. And I learned that he also produced. So on my very first EP, the opening track on the first EP, Lone Wolf, he produced that beat.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah, that's actually it's a very dope beat. I don't think I have any other beats that sound like that.
He's a great producer. Right, great producer, great rapper. Yeah. I think he was doing some other shit a while back. I'm trying to think too. Aside from that, he was doing production. He was doing rapping and something else, I believe. This was years ago, but no, the Insanity Plea to me was the best album he's ever put out so far. Now a lot of people would argue that, but when I heard that album, it just blew my fucking mind. Instantly became a fan of his heavily, and then every album since then's been genius as well, but that one is just so raw. There's always that artist has that one album that you just can't top. And there's nothing right or wrong about it. It's just that happens to be the album for you that does it. And that's it. For him, that's it.
For me, I have to second that because I think the next album he did after that was Dementia.
Yep, it was.
I listened more to Insanity Plea, Autophobia. Those are the two.
Or yeah, Autophobia.
Yeah.
And then after that was
Then it was Dementia.
I believe Dementia, yeah.
Yeah, so Autophobia and Insanity Plea, those are the two albums I go back and forth between. Not to say I don't fuck with his new stuff, but those are the two that I go back and forth with the most.
I would agree with you on that actually out of the albums that he's made, I think he has 2 other albums, I've listened to those 2 more than the other 2 by far. It's just, they're similar kind of, almost in the raw feel behind it. And then the newer one has a little bit of a different sound, not that that's a bad thing, it's just a little bit different.
Yeah, and I still liked it. I listened to it. Yeah, I definitely still like it.
One of the weird things is when you search for the original album, it's hard to find it under King ISO. You just have to search ISO.
Yep, he changed his name officially to King ISO. But
the old album still says King ISO on it, so he had it rebranded, but it's like still a lot of search engines come up as that, so it's kind of a shitty thing. It kind of fucked him a little bit, I think.
You're probably right about that. Nah, it's funny, because he was underground and now look how far he's come, which is awesome. I'm gonna build a little bit on Heather's question. So I'm gonna mention this artist. I've worked with him more than once and will always continue to work with him. I have to throw his name out there because I feel that he's very underrated, even though he's one of my favorite underground artists. Sleep Lyrical.
Sleep Lyrical is a fucking genius.
That's the fucking man right there. I love the guy as a person. I think he's just a beautiful person all around. As corny as that sounds, but fuck it.
No,
he's very talented.
He really is.
He's very talented. He's on. I've had him in almost every album. Like I'm a big fan of his. I think and we've had different types of songs too, different styles. That dude just kills everything that he touches.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what it is, he crushes it, and he crushes it quick too. You get him on one of your songs, and you send him the beat. Usually, it's like 4 days later. He's like, "There's your song. It's done."
Yeah, that dude. My respects. I definitely wish him the best, but to me, he's definitely one of the most underrated underground artists that I can think of. I just had to make a note of that because her question was still perplexing me. I was still thinking about it. So
it was rather your question. It bore roots and stuck deep. He's still thinking about it 10, 15 minutes later.
Yeah. It just made me. I don't know. He popped into my mind, so I figured I had to give him a shout out.
No, I'm glad you did. I got a lot of love for Sleep, so I'm glad you gave him a shout out on that because he is truly one of the unsung heroes of the underground. He doesn't get near as much buzz as he deserves, and he is by far one of the most talented lyrical underground artists there are. He works hard, he works quick, he works efficient, and he's put out a shit ton of music. And every time he kills it. I've never heard a verse from him that wasn't absolutely on point.
Yep. And Heather's, I just saw her new question. Yep, my home state is Illinois, specifically Chicago, Illinois.
How was it growing up in Chicago? Did you like it? Did you hate it?
So I grew up, I was outside Chicago, like in the actual South Side till I was 5 or 6, and then we moved to a suburb right outside of Chicago called Cicero, and that's where I ended up growing up more. I think I hated it more than I did liked it. I had a couple good experiences. Yeah, because I'm thinking I don't really much care for anything. Many experiences before the age of 18. For me, life became a lot more interesting when I became an adult.
Okay.
So, I don't know. I just, Nah, fuck Chicago. There's a lot of beautiful things about it, but it's Chicago. It's a lot of scumbags, a lot of murders, just a lot of things that fuck it up. It's like,
yeah, it's a scary place, man. I mean, there's just so much. The murder rate's so incredibly high there. It's a shame that human life is thrown away so rapidly on a daily basis. Like a lot of other cities. I mean, even Baltimore. Baltimore is fucking outrageous. I mean, just so many people killing each other over the dumbest shit.
Absolutely.
It's just pointless.
Yeah, no, I speak to my parents about on average once a week, and just hearing some of the shenanigans going on. I spoke to my dad before we started this interview. We were talking about a couple things. I was checking up on him, No, just his experience going to fucking Walmart of all things. Even that's a pain in the ass. It's just amazing how fucked up people can be, especially in a time of crisis with COVID, the big hot item right now, the whole pandemic that's going on right now. With COVID, you would think that people would experience a little more decency, especially in a trying time that affects everybody. Nobody's exempt from this shit. I mean, Fred, the artist Fred, the godson, he just died. He was a Bronx. I believe he's from the Bronx. Yeah. Like, I have a couple songs of his. I've known about him. Like, he just died from COVID. So
it's out there, man. It's crazy right now, and people are being stupid about it in a lot of different senses. And like you said, where the camaraderie, I can't talk tonight. Should be. It's not, and it's sad. Like, you should be watching out for one another and taking care of one another and trying to get through this with your fellow man. And instead, it's the opposite happens. It's like, I'm gonna go buy 3,000 rolls of fucking toilet paper before anybody else can buy it, because I'll never be able to use it all. But fuck everybody else. That's why. You know what I mean? And that's what the mentality is, and it's sad. And it really shows the animalistic nature of people. And it's funny because it does suck being trapped in your house. It does suck not being able to do much. And I know that we're right now starting to hit that boiling point where I think most people are starting to truly have a problem with it. And within the next couple of weeks, if people don't start being let out, they're going to start snapping. I can feel the tension. I'm one of the essential businesses, so I'm still out every day, but we're dealing with people. And everyone's on edge. Everyone's frustrated. And the thing is, it's only been a month. It's been a month, and people are losing their fucking mind. And I'm thinking just how funny it is, how much like animals we are. We think we're sophisticated. They limit what we can do for 4 or 5 weeks' time, and the fucking world goes to panic.
And I'm going to add a little something to that is I'm going to be very blunt about this because there's no better way to say it. It needs to be said. That quarantine shit that's going on back in the United States, that I hate to break it to folks, but that's not a real fucking quarantine. Fucking real quarantine is military members that are going back from certain austere locations. You got people they're being put in FEMA tents for 14 days straight, allowed to go outside once or twice a day, depending on the location and how they're running it, and their food is brought to them. That is an actual quarantine. The shit that we have in the United States right now, from what I've been reading, I'm going to call it a quarantine with privileges. That's not a real quarantine.
No, that's real shit, though. Well, everybody keeps saying martial law and things, too, and I'm like, well, I hate to break it to you, but this is not martial law. Martial law would go down a whole lot different than this is.
Yeah. Absolutely. But, and obviously COVID affects all kinds of businesses. It affects us as musicians. A lot of people that tour, they're not getting revenue from touring, for example. And, it affects all kinds of people, music venues, you name it. So everybody is hurting. Some more than others. I'm not going to be naive. Some more than others. But everybody is collectively hurting in some way, shape, or form.
And it is. And we need to try to support one another, get through this shit, get back to somewhat of a normal life and be happy again. But don't try fucking your fellow man just because you can, because you're frustrated and upset. They're frustrated and upset too. Everyone watch out for one another.
Absolutely. And that's what's important. And, it's just important to maintain the regulations that they put out, social distancing, etc. Because if you don't, then the virus might mutate and rebound. So there's a lot of things, but I don't want to elaborate too much on that because that's a whole separate discussion.
Absolutely. I hear you there. And talking about discussions, our time flew by, my friend. We are rounding the end of our show. So I guess a proper way to send this off, as we always do, would be for you to tell the fans out there where they can check you out at, who you would like to thank, and then go ahead and give us an interlude into your last song and we'll end the episode.
Okay. All right. So how to start? So to all my fans and people that are just barely discovering me, I appreciate you all for tuning in, or if you will tune in, etc., stream it, download it, whatever the case may be. Thank you all for your time. Thank you, Skippy, for having me. As far as my music, My music's pretty much everywhere, digitally distributed everywhere. iTunes, Spotify, etc. iHeartRadio, Pandora, you name it. So finding my music, you should be able to find it pretty easily. And what was? I feel like I'm forgetting something.
Oh, you said your thank yous. You said where to check you out at, but now you have to pick one of the last 2 songs left you want to go into, and we're going to go ahead and jump into it and finish it out.
Let's finish with World of Midnight.
All right, folks. Well, you heard it. If you enjoyed the show, please let us know. Make sure you check out Nomadic's pages and give him a like and a follow. Pick up his merch, pick up his music, and support him. Not only because he's an artist and you should support all underground, but this man is serving his country across seas, not only in general, but even tonight. He is tuning in at 4 o'clock in the fucking morning to give you this interview. That is love right there. So make sure you support him. Click like, follow, and share on his pages. And make sure you check in next week, Thursday night, 8 to 9:30 p.m. As always, we'll be bringing you another live underground interview. Next week's guest is hip-hop artist AB, and we're excited to kick it with him as well. Nomadic, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show tonight. You be safe over there, and we're going to finish this out with World of Midnight. We'll catch you next time, brother.
Thank you very much, brother. Y'all take care, and special shout out to Heather for your questions and your comment. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
All right, brother. We'll catch you soon. Thank you, Heather. Thank you, folks out there, and we'll see you next week.
Honestly savor the silent loneliness as wealthiness. A part of me's wishing for something to bring me deliverance. A place where nobody can find me. Take me to my world of midnight. Feel the rage pierce through the silence. My screws been untightened. My psyche's likely enlightened. Clinging to pride, take delight in madness, embrace it, ignite it. Use pain to paint blade and lies. There's nothing to stop me from rising out of this bottomless pit. It's a pity, feel guilty, can cleanse me from clingy spirits. I'm filthy. No good deed will free me from the certainty of my iniquities. Now it's plain to see I don't bat an eyelid in the face of adversity. I'm privy to urges. The night is young. Here's a wake up call. Keep on fighting, chasing dreams, no matter what the cost is. Me and my demon, who can stop us? I made a promise, I'll uphold my bargain. It's ride or die. I don't got another option. Breaking ground, hellhounds get outrun. I got the smoky gun. It's my fault. I become so numb to the damage. I fed up. Count down to the bitter end. I'm dumb fine. I'm a sinner, fully defeated, apathetic to the feeble. Gotta find a way to make it out of this sinkhole. I don't see no other alternative. Commence this flight. Journey to the other side where we stare at a burgundy sky. Embrace the dark with a devilish smile. This is my own hell. Seek the exit sign. Give me liberty in the world of midnight. Oddity stranger, I'm hardly likely to get your attention. Honestly savor the silent loneliness as wealthiness. A part of me's wishing for something to bring me deliverance. A place where nobody can find me. Take me to my world of midnight. Oddity stranger, I'm hardly likely to get your attention. Honestly savor the silent loneliness as wealthiness. A part of me's wishing for something to bring me deliverance. A place where nobody can find me. Take me to my world of midnight. Give me freedom out of this asylum. I spent enough time in Acropolis. Cut the bluff and I felt it was rough to be so wrong. Still strong, trying to make it home. So long I debated with my demon, a systemic epidemic coming from within. Prolonged any shred of excitement. Tragedies riding my mind. Resentment is all that I've left in my wake. Had enough, impatiently waiting for all my hate to be tamed. Crawl out of darkness, I harnessed them in my bed. Now I lie in it inside. I feel like I'm dying, flying to soar to new heights tonight. Gonna fake the motivation, now I gotta pretend to be another common necessity. Gotta channel my energy to the best of my ability. Don't believe in divinity, but I conceive an epiphany. I wanna wake up in the morning with a woman that I love. Do some Kama Sutra for the pleasure, make it water. I'm plotting on the future, maybe have another kid. I gotta get it together, put in my mind at ease. Living in the gutter that I made a pity party. Sorry's not enough, freaking now I'm not flawless. I've been ready for this moment. My story standing on the one I first saw in dream. During the crack of dawn, I'm so forgotten, but one turn to God.